Isn't that insane to you? To just get on a rickety old boat? Like, where are we going? Beats the fuck out of me, wherever the wind takes us.
Not being able to like do that one thing that a lot of people feel like that's all they can do, it was really shitty.
Get ready for a ride, okay? It's gonna get worse from here.
My name is Seth Nevsky. I'm 21. It was actually 2 days after I turned 19. That's when I actually did my first set.
Working out recently, trying to get into better shape. Because, like I mentioned, I'm in a relationship, and I want to show my girlfriend that she's not the only option. It's not that I want to cheat. I would never cheat.
Probably starting grade 5. I don't know what happened, maybe some sort of head injury, but I gained this new level of confidence and wanted to make people laugh and stuff like that.
He used to compete in vocal competitions and things like that. So he would be able to get up in front of a crowd, like 500 people, and sing and perform in a musical, but then he'd come out and people would say, "Hey, Seth, you're amazing." He'd say, "Thanks very much." And he'd be shy. So I think when it was sort of nameless faces, he was okay, but when he was one-on-one, he was more shy and uncomfortable.
When I was really young, people thought I was mute because I just wouldn't talk to anyone who wasn't like related to me. By grade 5, I kind of wanted to be known as funny.
So what were your thoughts when you found out you wanted to do comedy or stand-up comedy?
Fear. The fact that he was just a relatively new driver, driving all over Ontario late at night by himself. Fear number 1. Trying out humor on crowds that may or may not like what he was going to say, and then coming out late night at a club by himself to people who may not have liked what he said. Fear number 2.
He appreciates the love. He's given every comedian a death stare this whole time. He really just wants you to talk to him.
One of them's dead, so I don't know who get up there.
Not a very predictable future. Fear number 3.
While doing comedy and school and work, I'm also applying to law schools. I'm writing the LSAT very soon, in a few weeks actually. And then in the GTA because of COVID, I got to go to places I typically wouldn't to do stand-up, just trying to get shows in, like Oshawa, Niagara, Hamilton. Been a weird balancing act. My typical stand-up dates, it would be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I try to do either Sunday or Saturday.
All right, that's it for me. Thank you very much.
I probably over-prep, if I'm being honest.
And by the way, in the process of having a colonoscopy, you find out that the best thing you could hear after getting a colonoscopy is that you didn't need a colonoscopy. Doctor sits you down like, "Hey, remember when we gave you all those laxatives yesterday? And then you shit your body weight in water? And then we drugged you and shoved a camera up your ass? Now, well, it turns out you didn't need any of that. No, you're clean as a whistle back there. I checked. So anyway, now just go home and we can send you the footage if you want." A lot of it's just bullshit that you do once just to see like, is there anything there? Especially pre the last lockdown. It was like, except for a few dates, only one place was really open. So I'd go there like 4 times a week. And because I went there 4 times a week, I was essentially hanging around the same people. Like they've already seen me 800 times. So it's by the end, I just had all these very loose premises. I'm just going through them on stage just to see like, is there anything here? And then some things you even go through and you're like, I don't even remember what I meant to say there. First show is in Kensington. Good taco place, by the way, because I perform at taco places, among other places, convenience stores and the like.
Shalom, Chaverim.
Remember when I said this whole neighborhood's weed?
Oh, come on.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, come on.
What was happening?
Yelling stuff out.
Like,
What's going on, man? Another exciting day.
I'm mixing a variety of different styles of tribe.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, between the punk community and the courier community.
Are you a rabbi? Is that the beard or?
No, I am a priest technically.
Oh, that's cool.
Please put your hands together for Seth Nevsky right here.
Like I like to think to 500 years ago. 500 years ago, people used to just get on a shitty sailboat with no map. They discovered the world. Isn't that insane to you? To just get on a rickety old boat? Like, where are we going? Beats the fuck out of me, wherever the wind takes us. And from there, they discovered the world. That was 500 years ago. Meanwhile, 500 years later, if I'm an hour away from where I live and Google Maps isn't working on my phone, I can't get home. Like, that's how it is now. Like 3 months ago, I was in Waterloo and my phone died, and I thought, well, guess I live in Waterloo now. All right, that's it for me. Thank you very much.
It went okay. I feel like the new jokes did well. The old jokes, it's kind of hard for them to do as well as they could on a show where like everyone's seen you before.
Heard it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So because of that, you know, you just hope to make the people who you know aren't comics laugh, and you hope that the new stuff hits with the people who have heard your other stuff.
Comedy Sucks, Bubby's Boys, and there are 8 billion others I could list off. They essentially are just show production teams. And of course, because they are comedians as well, for the most part, the people who run shows, they have their friends and their favorites that they put on often. They have people who they put on less often, and then there are people that they just decide not to associate with. Thankfully, no one really hates me, so I can kind of do a lot of the shows.
The world was opening up, and we wanted to do a show because we didn't get to do a show in a while.
It was like the easiest sell in the history of sells.
We started
were like event, they were like sold out.
130, what was it?
120 seats.
120 seats outside, cannabis friendly.
No washroom, very weird.
So we took
In
it.
the bushes.
We started an Instagram page. We ended up with like over 1,500 followers.
Yeah, like
and
quick.
We sold out 2 months in a row.
Yeah.
And that launched Bubby's Boys. Friday we had that, it shut down, and then we went back into lockdown. We got nervous that was the end. What ended up happening was Free Play messaged us. We took on a Sunday show here.
On the
sold
patio.
That out,
That was the first one.
which led to us getting Parkdale weekly. We had 3 shows in Parkdale every Friday night.
So we book, we promote, we sell tickets,
We
we try to
host.
highlight the venue while highlighting the comedians.
I turned 43 this year. I realized at 43, the only thing I can do and be considered young is die. My name's Chad Gibson. You guys have a good night, right?
Comedy gives you that instant gratification.
Yeah,
when
like
you're in a
immediate.
band and you're making music, it's great in the moment, but after a while, like the practices feel like work. And like when you write a screenplay and you write a really good joke and you laugh to yourself and you look over and you like see yourself in the mirror and the way your apartment is and like the cigarettes and how gross you are. When on stage, you make a joke, people laugh. It's just like
And you're so gross, but you feel better about it.
feel better, yeah.
Just gonna start off with a quick one. Guys, do you think that the kids who work at the Nike factory make fun of the kids who work at the Skechers factory? You guys did not like that one.
But yeah, sometimes they just don't like you, and there's nothing you can really do, you know. You can pull out all the favors you have, you can try all the crowd work you want, but they just like, yeah, we're not into your vibe, you know.
Like, I feel like I have the mouth of a Democrat, but the asshole of a Republican. Because my mouth loves Mexican. My mouth can't get enough Mexican. But once that Mexican enters my mouth, my asshole needs that shit out immediately. Like, immediately. My asshole hates Mexicans so much, it wants to build a wall around my mouth to make sure no more Mexican comes in. Okay.
Wasn't my best. Let's just say it wasn't my crowd either. And, you know, some things hit, some things did not. That's the thing. Okay, I forget what comedian said it, but I heard a comedian say, like, just how music's so much better than comedy. And I agree. And that's because, you know, like, even when music's bad, it's still playing. And when a joke bombs, you're just sitting in silence for 3 seconds. So, you know, with a crowd like this that has different tastes than I, things won't hit. And, you know, it's tough. But hey, that's life.
Clap Comedy, it's ran by Sammy Wengel and now booking shows at Archibald's Pub in Richmond Hill. The few times I did it when, you know, uni kids were there and everything, it was pretty packed, got a lot of laughs and the whole deal. I've done it once since And that one in particular wasn't a great turnout.
That was weird. I should have said that. Anyways, our next guest coming up to do a set. I can't think of anything funny to introduce him as, but he's cool. Give it up for Seth Nevsky.
Yo, I'm so fucking cool, man. So cool I do comedy for 10 drunks on a Thursday. By the way, Warren, I love you, but you're making Trump jokes. His kid's right there. Like, how could you even do that? See, you, bro. Dude, you look like a Trump bastard. You look like if Eric ate Barron. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can tell, buddy. You guys have been a great crowd, okay? I got one more for you. A great, participatory, totally sober crowd.
Is this our guy? Hold on. I don't fucking know. There's some amazing people going up there who think they're funny. Some of them actually are, but most are not.
Fewer drunks makes for a worse show. Also, fewer drunks, it's almost like it gives them the ability to rise up.
How do you fight diarrhea?
Just let it happen, man.
Big crowd means that you're playing the statistics. 60, 70% of people could like your joke, and it's also contagious. Laughter's contagious. And if you're at a great show with a lot of people, they pay, they want to laugh. It's just easier. I'm more nervous for shitty open mics in front of jaded comics. That's a lot of this, that gets me more nervous.
Most of the industry died when COVID first hit, and Ontario was in the most crippling lockdown of all time.
I actually started this show, I run this show called Clap Comedy at Archibald's. I started it in July, and I've been running it for the last 2-3 months. Summer was great because we had all the university kids. People were enjoying it, people were laughing, but over time it's kind of gone down. People are back at school now, and plus with all the COVID restrictions, it just made it a lot tougher.
Show used to be really good.
Yeah.
Then, the Vax passport thing happened.
Which killed our crowds.
Yeah.
And our will to live.
So the vaccine passports have actually affected the show a lot, because a lot of the people who came to our shows were sort of anti-vaxxers or conservative side. People just don't want to get vaccinated, which means we're not getting as many people in. Hopefully, the passports won't stay around too long, and then we can get more people coming back in.
Yeah, he was so good all through the summer, and wow! I'm Scott Peters, I'm a comedian, and
I need him to work on his stuff a little bit. He hasn't done stand-up yet. I need him to practice.
Archibald's.
What he said, Archibald's!
Yeah, it's the best place on earth.
I guess the worst part of stand-up comedy is, I don't know, just a feeling that you're not doing anything. At least at my level. As I said, I'm not really making money from it. Where it's is this all just gonna be fruitless? Am I gonna wake up one day and something's gonna click in my head and I'm gonna be proficient at this? If I do get my law degree and I end up doing something with that, it's okay, I have a career, I'm gonna be a certain amount older. I don't really have as much time to pursue that dream. If I feel how I do currently, not doing stand-up will be very difficult. If I'm at another place in my life, maybe it'll just be something I did and I could tell my kids I did it, and hopefully they won't be too embarrassed by it.
My name is Yaz, and I'm 25. I started right at the beginning of the pandemic. It was a Friday, I got to try it, and then I did an open mic Monday, and then that next Friday, everything was done. I didn't do amazing, but it was an amazing experience. It wasn't something since I was little I always wanted to do, but I grew up doing theater. I grew up always trying to make people laugh. It was the only thing I felt like I could do socially and feel normal. I'm a very anxious person, so that was one thing, one outlet. I was doing some, again, underground shows that were happening when they were happening. Did some garage stuff. There was one guy that was running a show on the rooftop of Fillmore's. So you'd have to sneak up a fire escape. The summer of the pandemic, we were doing more sketch stuff. So that was kind of an outlet. I had this character that we would do stuff around called Neighborhood Watch.
Prepare to be restrained.
Like, we didn't really have a lot of opportunities for Yazzie to perform, so we kind of just decided after talking to a friend who also ran a show, used to be a friend, he was actually kind of a piece of shit. He said, he's just like, yeah, you should just run your own. I was like, fuck it, okay. 2 weeks from now, like, let's try to run a show.
Just like, oh, okay. And yeah, it was the only way I could get consistent time because it wasn't like anyone knew who I was. It's a lot of just going in a different bars and different places and just be like, hey, will you let me do this? And trying to convince people of that.
We started the first one in October of last year. It was like a little awkward at first because we were stressed with trying to promote something that basically meant we're asking people to congregate together, regardless of it being outside. Like, I didn't want other people to be like, you know, looking at our event as something that like was inherently dangerous. There was like seating arrangement things, so you could only have 4 people at a table. So we adhered to that, as well as like the spacing and everything. For the most part, like, there's like a little bit of leeway here and there.
We were lucky because from like October to the end of November, nothing really was going on. Or if they were happening, they were like the underground shows, you know, buy tickets online and then you'll find out where the location is, you know, type thing, which are super sick too.
But it was like kind of at a weird time in the year, and that's more of the reason why it ended, is just because of stuff had to move inside and then everything closed. That's why we're getting started again right now.
The show that we just started doing at Blackjack Barbecue, that's going to be now our weekly show every Thursday.
First night of hi-fi comedy here at Blackjack Barbecue.
I was confident in the lineup off the bat. I'm like, I know everyone on this show is awesome, so I'm not worried about that, but you just always worry about the other stuff you can't really control, you know? You put up flyers, you do what you can as far as advertising goes, you try and reach out, but sometimes that's not always what works. But pleasantly surprised, it was awesome.
Right? Like, even our crackheads have been down on the mask. In Pando, remember, I was on the bus, okay? At least 5 crackheads get onto the bus. All 5 of them have their masks on. 3 out of the 5 have their bare asses completely out.
The elections in Brampton are a bit weird. Like, it's kind of the same guys every time. Like, liberals have Mandeep Singh. NDP have Ramandeep Singh. Conservatives have Sukhdeep Singh. And the PPC have Tyler.
I like to think about lineups and who works with who's gonna complement who's gonna, you know what I mean? Like, when you're sitting there, I really try and think, like, from start to finish, who makes sense.
Like, I've been studying like white people for a while too. You know, the phrases you guys use. I know during the pandemic I was walking with my boy. He turns around and to me he says, "Yo, you need to pick up the pace. You're lollygagging." So what the fuck does that mean? I stopped dead in my tracks. I said, "Nah, bro, explain that." And this is when I knew I had to change my circle of friends. This guy said, "Hey man, you know it just means you're dilly-dallying, bro." I was like, what the fuck, bro? I had no idea I was chilling with Ned Flanders, bro.
A benefit to running your own show is you literally get to like have people that are better than you, have been doing it, you know, way longer than you. In some cases, you can learn so much.
Thank you so much, and I hope to see you guys next week.
It sounds weird, but we do like pretty much everything together. We met actually at an MMA gym that we were working at as well back in 2017. But for the most part, like professionally, a lot of what we do is like supporting the other to make that happen. He's really good at just like being business and this is how things have to happen and logistics, whereas I'm obviously very like, You
know, it's cool always to like make money doing things that you're passionate about, and that's like what me and Yazzie like make our whole life around, is just doing what we want to do and making money at it. I wouldn't do it if we weren't making money doing it. As much as it is fun, you know, I look at it very much as like a business venture. I'm like, okay, if we can make, you know, $400 for a night, then, you know, why not? And have fun doing it and get to like put on an awesome show, and like the gratitude you get from the people who get to watch the show afterwards. It was just kind of a lot of cool shit like that.
I also do PT, so personal training. We both run a striking class over at Freestyle Dojo. I kind of describe it as the lightest one I catch. It's a little flex.
Cool, so let's all partner up. So everybody grab a partner, take up a little bit of space. We're just gonna be working on jabs and crosses for the first round, pad holding, and then the other person goes to the next round, okay? So 3 minutes, just one person.
During the pandemic, things definitely had to change as far as just how we went about training. So we did a lot of stuff outside, which was not the best. Like, it was cool, but come January, it was pretty brutal. Personal training is more stable than comedy at this point in time, being that I'm better at that. So that there is that, but there are a lot of similarities in the sense of like you are responsible for your own gigs, making sure that you're finding work and networking and all of that jazz. I've had 2 amateur fights. Won one, lost one. So okay. I was training for a fight before the pandemic happened. I think someday I'll do it again. It's the only other thing that I'm doing. You know what I mean? It's stand-up and martial arts right now, so I have to do some type of competition. The nerves I felt going into my first fight were pretty similar to going into my first stand, like when they were like, you're up. It was like the same type of nerves. The difference is with fighting, or like if you have a fight, you have 3 months of just like every night being like, okay, in however many days I have to fight someone.
Did martial arts ever since I was like a preteen. I did a whole bunch of fights in Montana and New York before making my pro debut in Montana again. Submitted them in the second round, the Americana.
I ended up working at the Corner, the best comedy club in Toronto, probably Ontario. I bartend there as well as just do whatever needs to get done when it's operating. Joe runs it. He's the man behind it. He's been such an impact in the Toronto comedy scene for sure.
Shout out to Joe Tuchito.
To Joe Tuchito, who owns a comedy club now, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's called like the Corner.
The Corner Comedy Club, I think.
Joe was really compliant with the rules. He didn't want to step on any toes and get in any trouble. So he wasn't doing anything while everything was shut down. But if you're not doing shows, what can you really do for money, right? He had 2 locations, both which closed down, and then he opened this one like October of last year, right when things were like, okay, we're gonna be coming back inside. It was like the grand reopening, and the night of like our grand reopening, we got the news that we had to shut down that night. So it was just like, it was really, really shitty. I didn't get the call to come back, start working there until end of August. But the new location is bigger and definitely it's a nice spot. Going through an alley and down some stairs. Speakeasy for sure. Even like Thursdays and whatnot, nights where you would think wouldn't be super busy, they've been selling out, been doing really well. It's a really cool spot.
People think comedy is important for like change. I don't think it's important for change. Comedy's rarely affected how things are ran on a large scale. It affects people's mood toward those things because now they could laugh at it. It's important for the individual, but it's not important for the masses.
It's definitely important because if you can't really change your circumstance, you might as well change the perspective on it.
During the pandemic, comedy is like, it was a hard year, 2 years. People need to laugh more now than ever.
It's pure. Stand-up, it's just you, and you could go do it somewhere. Even a book, it's like hard to get that published and in front of people. Comedy, or stand-up, it's the easiest thing.
There's so many talented people here. There's people that are going through that are preparing for like, just for laughs or this type of thing for CTV or their album or whatever. So it seems like there's a lot of people doing something.
I don't think everyone needs comedy. I think most people need comedy. And because not everyone does, but most people do, that's kind of where you get your little grapples between specific communities.
I really think like COVID in general became so politicized and whatnot that it really, I think, split a lot of people for sure, which is unfortunate.
When will it ever not be? When in the history of life have we ever not been politically divided or divided on things? It's like people expect us to have this utopia that has never existed.
If the pandemic taught me anything, it was like how unhealthy this is. Like we think every show matters. Like, oh, this is the gig that's going to turn it around, but it's never going to turn it around. The problem is you, comedian. You're the problem. So until you fix that, there's no point.